Hello. Thank you for joining me on 8. I am Maggie, and we are on day 74 of the Momentum Challenge, and it is so exciting with heart and mind aligned. And I just have this song that keeps playing in my head as almost an anthem to the world. And you know that song Van Halen, it's by Van Halen, Why Can't This Be Love, right? Like, it's got what it takes. So tell me, why can't this be love? Straight from the heart. Tell me, why can't this be love? Okay, so I know he's singing of this like aching heart and wanting a certain situation to be such, but I'm just saying too, like, why can't it be love for us? As we move through this momentum challenge, continue to use love as the platform at which you pour out your heart and your spirit into the world. When you catch yourself maybe wanting to grasp onto a lower nature thing, like to manipulate or to guilt or something, just think to yourself, oh baby, why can't this be love? Oh, why can't this come from love? Okay, so we, on day 74 of the Momentum Challenge, we're going through the Florence Shinn works, and we are on book 3, The Power of the Word. Word. Okay, so day 74, Momentum Challenge. We're picking up where we left off. And it really just, I want to encourage you to let the scriptures sink in, let Florence sink in, let the stories sink in. You will be riding through life, and instead of making a right turn, you'll make a left, or instead of a left or right, because these things will permeate, and you will say, oh baby, why can't this be from love? And it will be, and you are. Oh, there's a dog. Okay. So we were at where she said, she talked about we're talking about the ladder, right? And how once you face your fear, the ladder disappears. So she says, thus the invisible forces are ever working for man or woman who is always pulling the strings himself through himself or herself, though he does not know it, owing to the vibrational power of words. Whatever man voices, he begins to attract. People who continually speak a disease invariably attract it. So what are we speaking? Straight from the heart. It's love, 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 love. Okay, going on. After man knows the truth, he cannot be too careful of his words. For example, I have a friend who often says on the phone, do come to see me and have a fine old-fashioned chat. This old-fashioned chat means hours of about 500 to 1,000 destructive words. The principal topic being loss, lack, failure, and sickness. Now, I want to just make this commercial. We are all guilty of this. But as we are in spiritual CrossFit for our heart, souls, and minds aligned, if you're catching yourself going into this place, pump the brakes and make a different choice. Use this story as your brake pumper and take another story. Go in another. So she gives us a solution. I reply, no thank you. I've had enough old-fashioned chats in my life. They are too expensive, but I will be glad to have a new fashioned chat. So there it is. Bada bing, bada boom, have a new fashioned chat. I will be glad to have a new fashion chat and talk about what we want and not what we don't want. Ding! There is an old saying that man only dares use his words for 3 purposes: to heal, bless, and prosper. What man says of others will be said of him or herself. And what he or she wishes for another, he or she is wishing for himself. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Make sure you're checking what it is that you're praying over others, what you are thinking over others, what are you wishing for others, what are you praying over others. Just check it. And if you're finding yourself going in the like lower end of the pond with values, have a new fashion chat, and do not be discouraged, because as you surrender to the God within, as you surrender and you let go, God will make the way for you. The upgrades will be made. You got to trust. Okay. So, curses like chickens come home to roost. Okay, so we don't want none of that. If a man wishes someone bad luck, he is sure to attract bad luck himself or herself. If he or she wishes to aid someone to success, he or she is wishing and aiding himself to success. And on this note, let's give a round of applause to Florence Shinn in this moment, because she aided so many people to success. I would like to give a round of applause to Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy and so many more. But in this moment, let's just give a round of applause to all the people who have aided us in success, or all the people we are aiding in success, or all the people who have aided us in success, living now, present, or future, because it's all happening now. So the body may be renewed and transformed through the spoken word and clear vision, and disease he completely wipes out of the consciousness. So the metaphysician knows that all disease has a mental correspondence. And in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. So we witnessed a lot of this with the cookie that was given to everyone around the world. You know, the metaphysician, it has a vibration and frequency, and a lot of fear was used to keep people in a certain place. So the metaphysician knows all disease has a mental correspondence. And in order to heal the body, one must first heal the soul. So we speak life. The soul is the subconscious mind, and it must be saved from wrong thinking. In the 23rd Psalm, we read, "He restoreth my soul." This means that the subconscious mind or soul must be restored with the right ideas. And the mystical marriage is the marriage of the soul and the spirit, of the subconscious and superconscious mind. They must be one. And that's where we have that cognitive dissonance, because you have these deep subconscious programs, but you're working to rewire them, and it's bouncing up against that. And that's why we are learning all the different things that we are doing to rewire our deep subconscious mind with the way that we speak. I can't think of the word right now, but the hypnosis is a certain way to command ourselves so that we can make that cognitive dissonance come into alignment so that you can surge forward in your goals. Okay, so when the subconscious is flooded with the perfect ideas of the superconscious, God and man are one. I and the Father are one. He is one with the realm of perfect ideas. He is man-made in God's likeness and image, imagination, and is given power and dominion over all created things, his mind, his body, and his affairs. Now, we're not going to go greatly into this, but this is where the I am comes in, right? Because I am whatever I say I am. So it is safe to say that all sickness and unhappiness come from the violation of the law of love. So tell me, why can't this be love, or we be love? A new commandment I give unto you, love one another. And in the game of life, love or goodwill takes every trick. Will take every trick. So for example, story. A woman I know had for years an appearance of terrible skin. And the doctors told her it was incurable, and she was in despair. She was on the stage, and she feared she would soon have to give up her profession. And she had no other means of support. She, however, procured a good engagement and on the opening night made a great hit. She received flattering notices from the critics and was joyful and elated. The next day she received a notice of dismissal. A man in the cast had been jealous of her success and had caused her to be sent away. She felt hatred and resentment taking complete possession of her. And she cried out, "Oh God, don't let me hate that man." And that night, she worked for hours in the silence. So we know who's in the silence, right? And she said, "I soon came into a deep silence, a very deep silence. I seemed to be at peace with myself and with the man and with the whole world. I continued this for the 2 following nights, and on the 3rd, I found I was healed completely of the skin disease. In asking for love or goodwill, she had fulfilled the law, for love is the fulfilling law. And the disease which came from the subconscious resentment was wiped out." Ooh, yes. Okay, so continual criticism produces rheumatism, as critical, inharmonious thoughts cause unnatural deposits in the blood, which settle in the joints. False growth can be caused by jealousy, hatred, and unforgiveness, fear, etc. If you ever want to check this stuff out too, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, right? She breaks it down to each body system. But isn't this amazing? Florence Shinn was teaching this in I don't know what hundreds, but before. So false growths are caused by jealousy, hatred, unforgiveness, and fear. And when you're feeling jealous or hatred or unforgiveness or fear, you might sometimes jump off and not, in that moment, not be able to control yourself. But when you get yourself back in check, nobody feels good feeling jealous, hatred, unforgiveness. We have this natural knowing within ourselves that that's not the direction we want to go in. So let's follow the story and go into the silence and work it out. Every disease is caused by a mind not at ease. I said once in my class, there is no use asking anyone what's the matter with you. We might just as well say, who's the matter with you? Unforgiveness is the most prolific cause of disease. Unforgiveness. So Ho'oponopono prayer coming. It will harden arteries or liver and affect the eyesight in its train or endless ills. We also know it hardens the heart. I called on a woman one day, who said she was ill from having eaten a poisonous oyster. I replied, "Oh no, the oyster was harmless. You poisoned the oyster. What's the matter with you?" She answered, "Oh, about 19 people." So she had quarreled with 19 people and had become so inharmonious that she attracted the wrong oyster. And any inharmony on the external indicates there is mental inharmony. As the within, so the without. As we look at the Hermetic principles of as above, so below. As below, so above, right? So man's only enemies are within himself. And man's foes shall be they of his own household. Personality is one of the last enemies to be overcome, as this planet is taking its initiation in love. It was Christ's message, peace on earth, goodwill towards man. The enlightened man, therefore, endeavors to perfect himself upon his neighbor. His work is with himself, to send out goodwill and blessings to every man and woman. And the marvelous thing is that if one blesses a man, he has no power to harm him or her. Oh, take that to heart. If one blesses a man, he has no power to harm him or her. For example, story. A man came to me asking to treat for success in business. He was selling machinery, and a rival appeared on the scene with what he proclaimed was a better machine. And my friend feared defeat. And I said, first of all, we must wipe out all fear and know that God protects your interests, and the divine idea must come out of the situation. That is, the right machine will be sold by the right man to the right man. Whew. And I added, don't hold one critical thought towards the man. Bless him all day, and he will not, and be willing to not sell your machine. So bless him all day, and be willing to not sell your machine if it isn't the divine idea. So he went to the meeting, fearless and non-resistant, and blessing the other man. He said the outcome was very remarkable. The other man's machine refused to work, and he sold his without the slightest difficulty. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which spitefully use you and persecute you. So I want to read that one more time. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which spitefully use you and persecute you. Goodwill produces a great aura of protection about the one who sends it, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So in other words, love and goodwill destroy the enemies within oneself. Therefore, one has no enemies on the external. There is a peace on earth for him who sends goodwill to man and woman. Okay, so there we go again, knocking it out of the park with Florence Shinn. Day 74 of the Momentum Challenge. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Please leave your positive comments. Now would be a great time to hit that like and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining me. And you know what's next. Peace in, peace out.